So today, for anyone that was here on Friday, or if you happen to watch the video, which if you did, thank you so much. And if you liked the video, thank you even more. And if you subscribe to my channel, thank you so much. That's awesome. I am just getting started, and it really means a lot if you like and subscribe. And so if you like what I'm doing here, then I really appreciate it. On Friday, we did some game development for my game, Fantasy Football Tactics, which is sort of a Final Fantasy Tactics meets Tecmo Super Bowl indie game. And I'm building it in Unity here. And we also had some fantasy football questions, which is awesome. I'm a huge fantasy football player, at least for Dynasty. I'm only in one league these days, but I have done a lot in the past. And I've been in this Dynasty league for, I think this is our 17th year. So uh, if you're here and if you play fantasy football or if you like American football, then definitely drop a note in the chat and let me know. Tell me about your team and all that kind of good stuff. I can help answer questions, although I'm here for the game development primarily. So that's just kind of a for fun thing. But today, go ahead and dig into this. Uh, I want to keep working on the bomb ability that we started developing on Friday. And there was some weirdness in the animation and the sequence of events. And I thought about it a lot over the weekend. And I realized that the ability system was designed to go through sort of target by target, but really it should go through like effect by effect. And what I mean by that for this one, let me pull up the code. Uh, builder, provider. So we have these effects. This first effect was sort of lobbing the ball to a teammate. And then the second effect is meant to be like a bomb exploding, which it doesn't look like that yet, but maybe by the end of the day it will. And so I wanted to make a couple changes. I started on this morning, but we're going to run through each effect first, and then the units will be impacted by the effect right after. So most of that's working. I have a crash happening because it's not quite all the way working yet. I'm also trying some different settings with Unity because the stream got a little chunky a few times, I noticed. So today I'll be running this in like 30 frames a second. So it might look a little less smooth to you on the stream, but hopefully it's worth it. And I haven't done optimization yet, so maybe that'll be a good target when I'm further in. So here's where I'm at right now. I can select the bomb ability, and she'll actually pass it. The prediction UI is all accurate. She'll pass it, and then they're all affected by fire. So that's more what I want. But we have an issue here with this queue, so maybe we'll start with that. And there's also a couple of other things that I know are broken that we need to fix. So right here, oh, we're missing a return. This is pretty simple. So I broke this out to where it should be pretty straightforward to read, but when we're attempting the execution, we kind of go through and we do a execute effects on units. So this is all effects on all units. This is going to loop through all of the effects one by one, and it won't move to the next one until this single effect is done. So that's how the daisy chaining is working. And then after that, oh, hang on, I lost my window that I wanted. Okay, perfect. After that, then, or within each effect, we go through all of the units. I removed the concept of whether you target the pending units in a serial fashion versus a parallel fashion, because I just don't think that I'll ever want to do it in a one at a time fashion. It just takes so long, and I don't think anybody's going to have the patience for that. So I decided to remove it. It's easy enough to put back in if I want. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. I think with that fixed, let me try this again. And then also, I still haven't let's go ahead and do this correctly since nobody's here. Uh, I want to put a new debug flag on that says skip match intro. I'm going to call it debug because when I go to do a build, I need to somehow exclude all of these. And so right now I just do it by looking at the name of the property. And somehow this needs to pass through to where I can actually skip it. So how I did this last time was I just went straight into the charging time state. And I have this battle state manager, so I can just put a flag on this. Or maybe I can look and see, do I want it in the match intro state, or do I want to just have the logic be here? Where do we enter? Oh, it's right here. So it would be pretty easy to just say here, like, if debug skip match intro, God, grief, Monday morning keyboard. If debug skip match intro, then we'll go straight into charging time state. And so then let's just pass that in here. Unless there's some kind of like, oh, there's a game listener, some kind of a delegate I could call back input to. The listener would make sense actually, maybe. Handle AI call, save match, reload match. Is there anything better? Where all is this instantiated? It's in the match manager. And then this has a bunch of stuff injected into it. Ah, probably that listener, I guess, is the best. No, I don't know. I kind of like it just being explicit. Good grief. There we go. And then let's just populate this all the way up. How bad is this going to get? It's going to be okay. Except that to pass it all the way through. This is why I was thinking maybe it just sits somewhere. Match manager listener. Let's at least put it here. Should probably have some just kind of like global config that filters all the way down. That's sort of what, there's like this, a few things that are like that. Oh, is that already implemented? Is this just going to work now? It doesn't seem to make sense. I was going to say, here we go. Okay. Why doesn't this work? Sometimes I've been having this problem lately where code doesn't actually compile everything. And I don't know why. It's saying match game state does not implement interface member. Okay. And then we'll just read it from here too. for this. We'll do public bool. Oh yeah, and let's do one of these little lambda things, and we'll do, what is it, not match manager, but game state manager. Game manager does not implement this thing. I thought it did. Debug, skip, match, intro. It's right there. Oh, it's because I guess it's a get. Is that what it wants? My brain isn't picking up on why. That's okay though. So that's not going to serialize if I change it. So this is, I guess, why it's maybe a little bit better to just pass it down. So let's back some of that stuff out. I'm going to revert that in Git. Should be on the match config. We'll just pass it in here. Oh, this is why. Yes. I'll just make it a method, get debug, skip, match, intro. Put it right here. Okay. All right. Now, just need to change that. Great. So now this should work. Let's test it. So if I do that little checkbox and run this, then it just goes right in. And if I uncheck that, then it should do the swirling animation. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. That is nice, even though it's a little bit gnarly. So, and then let's test this one more time, because I put in that return that should fix the crouch. Okay. Yeah, so everything's actually working fine. I think where we're going to run into issues is, well, here, let's test this. Awesome. I think where we're going to run into issues is here. It would never fumble because I'm not passing through the fact that it succeeded. And also, how was the experience points looking? 10, okay, that looks right. If I do this a few more times, it's never going to fumble. So we got to get that working. And then I want to come back to the bomb animation, because I have some ideas to make that cooler and a little bit more engaging. So let's try it out. Okay. So first things first we need to pass through the success. What's that? Oh, yeah, don't save. Okay. So there's assume success. Yeah, and then this, I don't think I have the max experience points working right either. That probably needs to be right here. So one thing at a time. We'll do this previous effect successful. And when we do the inner execute on a single unit, this is looking for me to pass in a flag saying that it succeeded or not. I'm already passing it out of here properly. So this false needs to actually be a lookup into this. So let's do a previous effect successful. We'll do like a get value or default for the target unit. And the default value, I think we had it as false before, just for the very first one. And then here, we're going to update the map going forward for the target unit to equal success. That's exactly right. The autocomplete was good there. And so that should just keep getting updated. With the most recent one as we keep going down. So let's do a little testing with that. So this guy should tackle, or should fumble every once in a while. Okay, not that time. Not that time. May not be working. Let me do this. If I always succeed, then I think this should at least work, but if there's something wrong, then maybe this wouldn't even work. Yeah, okay, so that should at least be working, but it's not. So let's look why. Okay, so right here, let's just step this through. Let me pull up the builder, action builder provider. And if we look at tackle, the first ability is damage. And then the second one is the fumble, based on the fumble success rate. And this is saying that it should depend on the previous one. So that would be all the way down here. If effect depends on previous effect and the previous effect was not successful, then we say we're finished. So I think what's happening is that this is always failing. Here I'm going to save this as a state, save it to slot 3. Yep. So it doesn't think that the previous effect was successful. That's exactly what's happening. Oh, I think that's because I'm doing a new dictionary every single time. Every time on this. Okay, that's why. So I just want a single one to pass in. So I think I can probably just assume success. Just pass it in here. Previous effect was successful. And kind of just take a functional approach to it. And mutate it. It's like mutated state along the way. But there will only be one instance created here. Dictionary. It's in between the two bools. Okay. No? Why doesn't it like that? Oh, it's after the two bools. That's why. Assume success. Now, I just want to triple check this. Okay, hang on. I need to look and see what I had before. I think that that flag was being passed through as like the default value always. I have that flag for a couple reasons. One, so that the AI is very optimistic. It assumes that everything works like how it should. But the other way is when I'm doing testing and I don't want to rely on RNG and I just want everything to work, then I can just turn on that little checkbox and it kind of avoids all of the checking. So I just had that hard coded to true there. Assume success. There must have been somewhere I was checking that. Oh, it should probably be the default. When I have that like get value or default, I think will work. And here, I think I can just pass in a new. Right here. Give value or default should be assume success. I think that'll work. Oh, right. I had updated value there. Nice. So this should work every time. One more for good measure. All right, and now if I get rid of the always succeed, it should basically be like half the time it'll fumble. Like a coin toss. Okay. Good. Good. Oh, she even missed entirely that time. So that's great. Getting lucky, but we definitely saw it not work, so I know it's, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Great. So that should be fixed now. And then, yeah, let's change to getting the experience points working. So it's close to working, but what happens here? So this is where it's calculated, and then in the callback here, which is only called here, we just like keep passing that through. So this is enter execute single effect on all units. So this needs to maintain a max experience points. And then in here, this should always take the max. And then when we're finally done, we should pass back the max. And then it should be like basically same thing here. Where else is this called? I don't think we need to pass in experience points here. This is like not helpful anymore because it's only ever called once. It doesn't daisy chain back on itself like it used to. Or does it? Oh, it totally does. Okay, never mind. So that's fine, that's fine, it's fine. It's here where this, maybe this is already working. So it'll take the max of, if it's the first one, it'll be 0. And then whatever the most recent effect success was. And then it'll go through and DQ. Yeah, this is right. It'll just keep passing. So I think this should have everything working. Maybe what I'll do for this is set up a new game. And just kind of see if it's working. Let me prime the teams with some extra experience points. Let's say if they have somewhere between 80 and 90. So I can get somebody to level up and get extra experience points. Okay. So the 10, we need somebody to level up. Okay, he leveled up. Ooh, there's a bug. Null reference exception on match 172. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. I don't think I touched that code. That's really weird. It's saying this was null. That's the only place where it is null. Can I reproduce that? Let me try to save. It's her, right? Oh, weird. Let's go back further. Was that something with this guy? Oh, there we go. Very strange. I think this is only called in the one spot. So how did executing action get to be null? Is this related to my changes? Well, first off, let's see if I can reload this. And recreate it this way. Great experience. Okay. This is just like a busted save state now. That's too bad. Yeah, okay. Bummer, dude. I don't know how that could have happened. Executing action went null unless this like was past a null. From here, maybe. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible. I guess let's just see if it keeps coming up. That's not awesome though. I want this to go quicker. Let me. Let's do between 90 and 100.
Oh!
Oh, yeah, that's something super weird there with the AI. I bet it's got to be these changes that I just made. This guy's level 6 though, so she should get 12 experience points. Great. Why is that movement all messed up for her? It's really strange. Let me stash my changes. Yeah, it all looks fine. So I think there's something with the code that assumes success for the AI that is really screwing up. So let's look at that real quick. Execute success for AI. Here we go. Yeah, don't really know what I would have changed that would have broken that, but I mean, this is a pretty big change, so. Okay, here's what I have for execute successor AI. Pending target units, pre-execute, inner execute effects on units, builds a queue of the effects, and then passes them in. Inner execute effect here. Okay, so pending effects count as 0, then we're good. Otherwise, let's dequeue the first, then inner execute single effect on all units. We pass in if the previous effect was successful, the assume success flag, okay, build the target unit queue. While that count is greater than 0, we get a pending unit. We inner execute the effect on a single unit. We say that this is the default. And then when it's done, we overwrite that, increase the finish count, and then if it's equal to the pending unit count, then we have the finish callback. This all looks fine to me. I wonder about this though. The target's not applicable. We do the finish, that didn't really change. We are assuming success, that's going to go through. If effect depends on previous effect and not previous effect successful, this should always be true, so it's never going to do that. Execute success, current stats, and animations should not be enabled. So it does the finish callback. We'll get the max, overwrite that previous effect successful. I guess maybe that's not thread safe. But this should all be single threaded at this point. That's really weird. Let me slow things down and just see what's happening a little bit more there. If I do CPU versus CPU, will it go faster? I think it's is it specific to the Defender? I think all these other ones are working because they don't have a depends on previous effect flag, maybe? That one has that flag on it. That worked fine. Is it just with the punt ability? What's up with punt? Is there something weird with punt? Let me just get rid of that and see if it still happens. That was weird too. The prediction UI didn't look right. I need to change all these to defenders again. I think that leveling up change is working fine. And then let me undo this too and see if it should start happening. I mean, that looked like the situation that it was doing was when it punted. Trying to do all this now because I have to build out a ton of abilities for the demo, so. Yeah, it's all working fine now. Ooh, chasing this down is interesting. I wonder if it's my, okay, so here's my suspicion is that the team AI is resulting in a null action. So like if I just a hard code a null in here, then I think it'll look like that crash happened, like that we saw. So if I can prove that, not quite that. Set up action for unit. So we begin the unit action, target tile. Oh boy, I don't know what happened here. I think something is like crashing in the middle of this. This needs to be solid, so I don't know what is happening here. And now it's just not happening. So when there's a human team, let's try this. Seems totally fine now. Holy golly, that's a gnarly one. I'm gonna have to switch gears here in a minute to do something more exciting. I just want to see if I can repro at least one more time. He just got to move twice. That's interesting. Did I put that thing back for punt? Yeah. It's like this on action finish got called twice. But that's exactly what happened. Let's see how that can happen. Attempt execution. So we're looking at callback. If it's null, then it's going to do the callback once here. I think. Key effects on units. Count a 0 return. Oh. This should only happen once, I think, here. But let's see. It's going to call this whole thing finish callback return. It's going to return there. It's going to return there. Let's play success animation. A callback is definitely happening twice. Could be coming from the animation, I suppose. That wouldn't make sense. I would be having that problem very often, though. That wouldn't have been introduced by my changes. Okay, let's triple check this here. Pending units, build target unit queue, pending unit count, stock count, finish count. Oh, what is happening here? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So we kick all these off in parallel, not in parallel, they're actually serially, and then each one comes back. Update this dictionary, say the finish count is increasing. So this should be kicked off pending unit count times finish count 0. As soon as they equal each other, then we call the finish callback once. That's only called in a single spot. So this will only get called once, and it's going to come back around. With everything the same. Attempt execution. Well, it looks okay to me, but there's definitely something that can call that twice. Very, very strange. So what I can at least do is put a check here. So something got screwed up for now and see if it happens again. That's really crazy. Attempt execution. Unless the whole thing is getting called twice. This end unit action. Let's enter unit executing state. Yeah. All looks okay to me. Let's see. That all worked pretty good. All right, we'll come back to this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set this up to do another debug match. Let me change that code the debug code I put in. Something got screwed up. Throw new invalid operation exception. I'm just going to set this on computer versus computer and see if I can get it to trigger while I take a break. I also, oh, whoops, I need to do this again. All right, I'll be back. Let's see if we can trigger this issue. It hasn't happened yet. It's a ghost. We're chasing a ghost. That's not good. Try a couple more times here. How did I have this set up? Just like this. Oh, yeah, that prediction UI still doesn't look right either. All right, I'm gonna stash my changes. Here, let me test out the game breaker first. So I can actually see it. Is that how it normally works? Human. Oh, okay. I guess that's how that, so I didn't break that. That's how that normally works. Good. But I do think I broke something else. That's all right. Okay, let's do something more fun now. Let's see if we can get the bomb animation working better. So I was thinking it would be cool if it went like high up in the air, the camera kind of panned back and showed the whole level, and then it accelerated down, and then did like a bigger explosion type thing. So let's see if we can get something more like that working. I'm gonna make a note to myself to track down that crash though, so I don't forget. There it is. All right, I'm gonna have to stare at it. All right, here's bomb. So let's see. We have this toss ball effect action, and the punt ball effect animation, which just does a punt. So let's duplicate this, and we'll do a lob ball animation. Oop, Kib. What's Kib? All right, lob ball animation, and then this has a bunch of stuff on it, like throw to target unit. So I think we can maybe do an override of this existing throw to target unit that has like a height to it. Throw to target unit. And then we have an animate throw for the ball. And this is where we probably want to give it a height. And then it's the middle position, initial position plus final position at a height. So the original value was 2. And then maybe I can increase the time of this like by the height. For now. And then I'm going to want to come back and actually make that a little bit better. Let me pass in the duration too. So we'll do half the duration on the way up and half the duration on the way down. And then let's do, I guess we can just pass it in through here. That's my interface. All right. So this animate throw for punt. Actually, I want punt to go up higher too. And then I should just do this right. Timing utils dot punt animation duration. Let's just say it's like 1 second, I guess. Actually, I don't even know that I want that to be a duration. It probably needs to be a velocity. Just toss ball, so football behavior timing times 2. That's what it was originally. Okay, so that should all work. And then my lob ball one, I want this to be a throw to target unit, but I want it to be super high and to take a while. So let's say it's going to take like 5 seconds. And then let's change this to a lob ball. effect animation. Let's start with this and see what that looks like. Should go up way higher. It comes back down linearly. Oh, but it already went back. Ooh, maybe that's the source of our bug. It should have waited. Wow, went back to her. Or I guess that's probably part of the lot ball effect animation. Throw to target unit. Oh, okay, yeah, so throw to target unit's gonna go back. So let's really need to change the throw to target unit to not go back to the unit. That just needs to be built into the state when it's done so that it always goes back. Why is it doing another little follow football delay? Where does this come from? So it was right here. So I think we can probably pretty safely put it here. Make camera to unit. I think it should be like at the end of executing state. All right. On action finished. That's a bigger change than I want to do right now. Okay, I just need to copy this for now. Put this back. I'll do a lob to target unit. Missing in the interface. Here we go. cool. Somehow it's already going back. There's something that's doing that, so that's good. Again, it's pretty painfully slow. All right. Let's make that faster, and then let's do a couple of other things just to improve this already. So I have 3 position keyframes. What I want to do is have kind of 2 separate animations actually going, one for the y-axis and one for the xz axis. So let's do, so there's position keyframes, these are good. And then I want Y keyframes. So let's do, let's actually rename these, be super clear. XZ keyframes. And then Y keyframes. Just make that a float. Actually, you know what I could do? It's kind of nice. I can actually use the same, no, I can't. Well, I can copy the keyframes though. And then this will be linear, but then the Y keyframe will be like ease out. And then this last one I think will be ease in. And then here what I can do is say, var next position equals value, and say value.y equals transform.localPosition.y next position. And then do next position like that. And then I can do another one right alongside it that does the Y keyframes. And this one will say that the next position is the current transform.localPosition, but the next position.y is going to equal the value.y. And then don't do any kind of callback here for that. They should just animate at the same time. So this should be a much more natural arc now that it does. It should go faster. Ooh. Yeah, that looks way better already. It's kind of floaty. All right. And then lob to target. So the camera is going to start tracking that transform. But while that's happening, I want to animate it up to the same, like using the same duration, I guess. So what does start tracking do? Track transform. Just constantly updates the look at. So what I want to do is animate like that current offset. Oh, I have like a tilt, don't I? Animate camera up. Internal animate ISO offset. Let's see what I can do here. Okay. Animate camera up. So let's see. We'll do like float distance above, float distance behind, or distance back, I guess is better. And then float duration. So then I can just do the start coroutine, dynamic animation, animate float, current offset. Um, Should be pretty similar to what I'm doing to tilt this. Distance above, distance back. I just want to set up a new one here. Maybe I should just take in a vector 3, and then there can be like a reset. Here, let me try this. Oh, except this doesn't take in a duration. So let's change this to take in a duration. Oh, it takes in a fast. That's just one. So and then that one's fast. Let's get rid of this. Okay, and then I should be able to like just do this internal one to do a new offset, new vector 3, and then what is it? Yeah, negative distance back, distance above, negative distance back, and duration. Oh, do I need a callback? I don't know if I do or not. So animate camera. Let's call this like animate tracking camera up. And then animate tracking camera down, I guess. Just a duration. And so that this should go back to the default offset, I think, for now. And then let's go to, where's the battle animator? So at the same time that the ball starts moving, right after we start tracking this, we're going to tilt the camera up. The autocomplete is awful sometimes. Okay, match camera behavior. Dot. Let's see, what did I call it? Animate tracking camera up. The distance above. Let's go like another, I don't know, 10. Distance back 0, so it goes like right above the ball. The duration is going to be half of the duration here. And then as soon as we finish that, then we'll animate it back down as it's coming down. Tracking camera down, and another duration times half. No for that. Should work. All right, let's see if that looks cool. So the camera, as the ball is like being lobbed up in the air, the camera should go up even higher and like kind of look down on top of the entire field as it's getting ready to slam down. Let's see if this works. Oh, kind of. Not quite. That was not quite right. It did something. Let's get rid of that where it animates back down. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from. Well, now it's just up above. Okay. I think maybe the fact that that's going all the way to 0 is screwing it up. So let's go back at least like a little bit. Some non-zero amount. It's going down like way too fast. Stop selection animation. Oh, it's because it's doing out cubic every time. That's why. So let me pass in the easing type in here. So for this one, we always wanted to use that. Oops. It was what? Easing type out cubic, I think. And then for these ones, I think out cubic is fine, but then for this one, we want it to be in cubic to match the ball. Have more impact. Feels like it's slamming down. Looks really jittery. That's all right though. Um, can I put that back to 0 now? I don't think it's gonna like that. Oh, I feel like that should work okay. Seemed like the rotation was getting screwed up though. Yeah. Yeah, my math sort of assumes that it's behind the target just a little bit. So that can't be all the way to 0. Yeah. Like, I don't know what you call that, like a gimbal, rotation thing. So just do like a very small amount. Maybe it looks cooler, still like kind of far back actually. Let's try like a little ways back. The other thing, I use an orthographic camera, but I want to experiment with actually swapping to a perspective mode during this animation. That wasn't far back enough, or that was too far back, I guess. I really wanted to come up and over the ball. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna Google this real quick. I'm looking up how I can smoothly animate between an orthographic and perspective camera in Unity, if that's possible, because it's basically just a checkbox. Yeah, just doing like linear and matrix interpolation. Some matrix math. Don't want to try matrix math on the live stream. We could do at least like a super simple test of this, which is how it might look, which is like in here to just say camera. Do I have access to the camera in here actually? Oh yeah, mesh camera, okay. Orthographic equals false. This will like jump between the two, but we can only see what the effect might look like if we were to try to smooth it out. Would it help watching the motion in scene view? Uh, Probably, but I'm not sure if I totally understand your suggestion. Like for which problem, I guess. Are you suggesting? Whoa! Well, that actually looked pretty cool, didn't it? Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't expect that to look good at all. Just to see what the arc is doing. Oh yeah, sure. How about well, let's see if we can. I feel like I understand what the arc is doing, but it's the way that the camera is tracking behind it that is sort of the issue, if that makes sense. Okay, now here's the real question. And if you know Digital Workbench, which thank you for the comments, by the way, the chats. How can I trigger the motion? I guess can I run these side by side? That's probably the way to do it. Let me dock the game view over here. Ah, perfect. So here's the scene view. Turn off some of the wireframe stuff so we can see. And then to zoom out so we can see the ball. Okay. Yeah, so the arc looks pretty good. What do you think of the camera? The camera tracking in the game view. I almost want the camera to be even further away. I also thought maybe what you were suggesting was, is there a way I can do this without having to recompile every time? And there probably is, but I do a lot of stuff procedurally. Oh, that didn't change anything. I thought it would be further back from the ball, but it almost seems closer. Feels like it hangs at the top a bit too much, so the easing is probably not quite right. I can tackle that in a second. Oh, I have this hard coded. That's why I was like, why didn't that change anything? And then while we're here, yeah, let's go into the ball or the camera easing here. So if we do out cubic, could do like, I actually think maybe out cubic is right, but maybe the whole animation just needs to be faster. The easing might be right. Let's cut this down to 2 seconds. It's not like fully centering on the target either with that animation. I think the switch to perspective is kind of throwing it off a little bit too. Definitely doesn't hang too long, but the rest might be like going too fast. That easing really snaps now. Let's Let's just go like to an out sign. See if that looks any better. And then when this is done, default offset. It needs to like stop tracking the ball too. Do I have that? Yeah, stop tracking. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just see what the using does first. How can I see? Let me highlight the camera over here. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, it goes way up there. Hang on. I think the perspective shift is just making things muddy for now. I need to, if I'm going to do that, I have to do it right with matrix interpolation. I do think it looks kind of cool. What? There it goes. Weird. Yeah, I think that's just causing issues. The orthographic thing. Oh no, there's just a bug in there anyway. I'm gonna leave it off and get the rest of this working right. So for the when I stop tracking, track transform, I update the look at, but then when I'm done, I need to update the look at one more time. To be on the target. So where have I done that? Elsewhere. Just punt. And then animate to look at. So why doesn't throw have this issue? We do an animate to look at to go back to the thrower. So let me just see here. So if I do match camera behavior, animate to, or I think I actually have like a, even just in here, I have a animate to target, animate camera to unit, which I want to go to the target unit. What will that do here at the end? pretty good. Yeah, looks okay, I think. Looks a little better than it did before. Definitely needs to like detonate on impact or something. It doesn't feel very impactful when it lands, but I think the motion looks pretty good. That easing looks a bit slow now too, now that I took the orthographic out. Let me try putting this back to cubic. Camera shake? Sure, we can do camera shake. It's the answer to everything, right? Camera shake. Do I have any kind of utils for this? Shake. Max damage, shake duration, okay. Magnitude. What have I done before? Shake scale. It's probably like, yeah, 0.1, something like that. Something small. Do I have this guarded? Yeah, okay, I do. You know what I probably want to do? No, I actually want it this way. I want it to move on and start like doing the fire while it's shaking, probably. I can cover up this little fudge of animating camera back to the unit. And then let's do that callback right away. I don't think we want to wait. Let's get rid of that. Should probably feel more impactful. Digital Workbench, your icon looks familiar to me. Are you following me on Twitter or something like that? Let's see how this goes. It's too small. Way too small. Let's go big on that one. Yeah, 7 Sage. Okay, cool, awesome. Thanks so much for like following along. I'm glad you seem to be interested in the project. So I really, really appreciate that. I'm just starting to get the word out, so you're in very early. It's like family members, friends, and you. So welcome to the club. I wasn't watching. Here, let's see. Yeah, it looks a little better. I feel like it could be bigger. I'm reading this book called The Art of Game Design by Jesse Schell. It's awesome. I read it. I don't think I ever finished it all the way, but I read part of it once years ago before I actually like started doing this stuff more seriously. But anyway, I'm reading it now, and he talks about tweaking parameters. Ooh, that broke the camera for some reason. Talks about tweaking parameters. He's like, you can't do small changes. You got to do big changes to see the impact. Go. Try to do big changes. Oh, why is that screwing up like that? Probably because I need to wait for the camera to come back down before I do stop tracking. Oh, that's the bug, I think. At least this stuff needs to be here. It's a little dicey doing multiple animations at once and hoping that it works out. But this is everything that's going to impact the camera, and this is everything that's going to impact the ball, so it should be okay. Yeah, well, it looks pretty good. Yeah, multiple tweens is a challenge. I think as long as the durations are the same and uh, like the curves are on different objects, then it shouldn't matter too much. But it definitely does look smoother when everything's lined up. Curious what this might look like if we move the thrower like down a little bit. Let's see. I guess we'll do this guy. Yeah, you can like see the field. Oops. Yeah, that looks awesome. If I do say so myself, I think it looks pretty good. It's more what I had in mind. We could probably do even more with particle effects, make it look like an explosion. Oh, one more thing. Here's one thing we could probably do. And then I'm going to be wrapping up the stream here soon for today. So I don't think you'll be able to hear this, but locally I have some sound effects. So let's maybe see if we can find an explosion to put in. Just explosion, fire, gas. There we go. Far distant. We don't want far distant explosion. We want probably a large explosion. Let's find a good one. This first one sounds pretty okay. You can see my system for doing all the sound effects now, if you're curious. So it's been a little bit since I added a new one. Spells, nature, sound effects. I'll just put one in here. I'll call this explosion for now. Still messing with these settings. I've been doing compressed in memory for all of them. Seems to work okay. And then I have like a global, where is it? Match vocal sound effect. Oh yeah, I actually turned this into a prefab. So let me go to the prefab. And then basically I have a one of these effects, explosion effect. And for this one, it has a whole system for like having, let's say, like 5 or 6 different effects for the same sound, and then randomly picking one and cycling through them and modifying each one by a little bit to just add variation. You never got any of your prototypes to the adding sound stage. It does make a difference. It's interesting. What kind of games did you make? Like, or what were you working on? What prototypes did you work on? Be curious to know. Okay, so we have this explosion in here, and we have like a pitch bend range and a bass, a volume range, volume bass. Let's put that up to 1. So this will just like slightly change the pitch and the volume. Mostly tactic stuff. Awesome. Cool. Was it like a sports tactics game or more traditional? Currently converting a tactics tutorial to Godot. Cool. Yeah, I haven't used Godot yet. Everybody seems to love it. All right, we have to do a couple other things to hook up this whole thing. So the whole sound effect player needs to know about the explosion. So once again, I have just like a whole list of enums for this. So we'll do explosion. This is just like glue code. But then it makes it easy for me to like trigger any kind of sound effect from anywhere in the code base, really. And then here's a mapping. Yeah, traditional. Cool. Yeah, nothing wrong with that for sure. I'm definitely leaning, well, I don't know. I hesitate to say I'm leaning more towards the casual side because I think that this game is going to have a lot that you need to learn to be proficient at it. But whenever I play tactics games, like if I play Final Fantasy Tactics, the original on PlayStation, it just stresses me out these days. And so there's something about like the advanced version or some of the more modern Fire Emblems have done a good job where it's like just eases up a little bit. I don't know. I think I'm trying to say is that there's a wide swath of things that you can do with tactics games. They seem like a blank canvas. Okay, so this is all hooked up here, and then I just have to drag this guy over here. Shining Force, cool. Need to play Shining Force. I think those are on the Nintendo Online. But I also saw on Steam they're like Sega has like a ton of games for like $1. The issue is that every tactics game takes like so much time to play, and I don't have. I'm spending my time making games these days instead of playing them, or trying to anyway. So right here, when we kick off the shake screen, I think is a good time to do the explosion. So after all that setup, what's kind of cool is now I can just come in here and say play the explosion sound. Now, let me know how this sounds out there. Feels very zoomed in. What just happened? That's weird. Oh, that sounds great. That really sells it. Hang on a second. Yeah, less time overall than modern games. Yeah, it's not like a endless open world questathon for sure. Although I'm sure somebody's making one. How's this sound? Oh, there's that camera bug again. I don't have that fixed. There's something weird with that. Sounds good, you think? All right. Sounds good to you, then that's good enough for me. I thought I had that camera bug fixed, but it showed back up. It's not even, is it centered at all? I'm having a hard time telling with my window docked off to the side. No, I don't think it is. It's like off to the right. Hmm. You have to keep messing with that. Overall, looks pretty good though. I think that's some good progress today. Maybe what I should do is really slow this down. I think I have the duration is hard coded. So let's create a parameter for this and then slow it down. Ball duration. Where did it go? Did it make it? I didn't make it. That's okay. So I think we had 2 seconds there. Let's test this once. Oh, yeah, that's already sped up because I have it set to go really fast. So let's set it to go really slow. I'm gonna dock, this is like driving me nuts. I'm gonna dock it back over here. The games you watch these days are ones that add like a unique mechanic. Yeah, like the ball handling. Yeah, the whole thing is pretty interesting. I would love to do a little bit more like gameplay videos. And I'm excited to get this in the hands of people to start playing demos because, you know, when you play a normal tactics game, you're sort of optimizing, okay, which opponent has the lowest amount of health? How can I like knock them out quickly and then kind of like whittle your way through the team or whatever your preferred like optimization is, right? But with this game, like you can certainly do that, but at least if I'm successful with what I want, then if you waste time doing that, then the other team might score on you like really quickly. And so you can't just optimize for that. You have to think about like ball placement. You have to think about like turn order. Like I really love Grandia 2 and its battle system and how much timing impacts things. So I'm trying to bring in a little bit of that. That's actually what these numbers are up here. I just recently made a change where when you pitch the ball, it actually gives like a little speed boost to whoever you pitch it to. Um, so you mostly watch these days. Do you watch games on like Twitch and YouTube primarily, or and do you still make time to play, or is it mostly just watching? Like what the barrier to entry for watching is so low these days. It's much lower than playing a game. I feel like so. I end up watching a lot of games too. I was just kind of curious. Actually, it looks really good in slow motion. Yeah, there's the camera bug. It is centered, but it wasn't like all the way down. and just snippets. Cool. All right, well, it is getting into the afternoon. I'm getting hungry for lunch, so I'm gonna go get myself some lunch. But thanks so much for watching to everyone that's here. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm still having fun with it, so I'll set a schedule at some point, but probably Mondays and Fridays are looking mostly good, except for when my daughter's off of school, then I probably won't, or maybe I'll try to pick a different day that week, like Tuesday and Thursday. But if there's anything you want to see more of, let me know. If you have any feedback, less of, let me know. And of course, if you haven't liked and subscribed, then that is super helpful to me because I only have like 20 subscribers and I'm just getting started. And this seemed like a good way to kind of do double duty and make progress on the game and sort of start building a community around it. So that's why I'm kind of enjoying it. So yeah, anyway, thanks for coming, and I will see you all probably on Friday. So thank you. Take care.